It's time for the SP and Bushy Show. Here's your hosts, SP and Bushy.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the SP and Bushy Show. I'm SP. Bushy, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, man. It was a crazy week in the world of sports. It just felt like a lot of stuff happening in the world of sports, and we're semi starting to get back to normal. And then when you really think about it, too, the draft is just a couple of weeks away as well. So we're gonna have football, and we're gonna be probably talking a little football in the mix in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Lots going on. Obviously, we are at the end of the NCAA season on Monday night with Baylor knocking off Gonzaga. And we got to talk about the bracket challenge. Who is the winner?
So the winner for us is Trevor Murray. Congratulations, Trevor. I will be in touch with you soon. Hopefully sometime. We're probably thinking sometime around May. We'll probably get you on, and you could be our first guest here at the SP and Bushy Show. So congratulations to Trevor for winning for it. He lucked out with Baylor beating Gonzaga, which unfortunately I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the national championship game because I was working.
Well, you didn't miss much. I mean, the national championship game was kind of a dud. Baylor came out, cracked him in the mouth from the beginning. And I even tweeted it out that night that, like, I never really bought into, like, one team wanting it more than the other. But, man, if you watch that game, Baylor looked like the team that wanted it more. They looked like the hungrier team. They looked like the team that knew what the stakes were. And, I mean, they came out with a masterful game plan. And really, it took Gonzaga almost until halftime to match Baylor's intensity in that game.
That's what it felt like. And it was just like a really darn shame because really we had probably the game of the tournament in the Final Four with Gonzaga and UCLA. I ended up watching the last 5 minutes of the second half and then in overtime as well. So it was just really a shame because it felt like this was Gonzaga's year. Like this was the destiny year for Gonzaga with that crazy end of the game shot by Suggs to defeat UCLA.
Absolutely. It was one of the greatest tournament games of all time. A fantastic victory by Gonzaga in the Final Four. But, I mean, it's almost like the miracle on ice, but if the U.S. had lost to Finland or something like that afterwards, like it was just a dud of a loss. And it's just, I mean, it's sad to see that they couldn't pull it out in the finals after winning such a miraculous way in the Final Four.
Yeah, it was glorious. I remember we were watching the game on my phone. My manager and I, we were watching the game. We just couldn't believe it when it went in. When the Suggs shot went in, we were like, "Oh my God, that just happened!" And then we saw it as well. They showed it at the jumbotron at Coors Field, and you got a collective. Ooh, like it was really a collective. Ooh, wow, what a shot.
Excellent. I mean, it was just a phenomenal play, phenomenal game. Congrats to UCLA as an 11 seed making such a deep run. Like they gave Gonzaga all they could handle in what was a fantastic game. And I mean, Baylor winning it may be the story coming out of this tournament, but what we're going to remember from this tournament is that game.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of recency bias. Everybody's kind of saying like this was the greatest college basketball game of all time, as well. I really got to go. I know it's sometimes you got to maybe give it a little. I mean, don't get me wrong. This was definitely one of the best college basketball games I have ever seen. Like it really was. Even though, yeah, I watched the last 10 minutes of the game time, but really, I mean. Judging from like the Twitter and all that, it felt like a great intensity game. So it really is going to be up there with that and the likes of Duke and Kentucky, which we talked about at our Time Machine basketball game. I mean, this may have to be an entry right now too. We may have to go back in time and get some COVID tickets.
Absolutely, for sure. This is definitely one of those games that we wish we could go back and see live. Because, I mean, just to be there and see that shot go through. Plus, I mean, it was a game that was so close throughout. Like, I mean, it was just never a game that ever felt like it was out of reach for either team. Like, it was just one of those games that, like, close the whole way through. And that was what added to the drama of it, because once even UCLA hitting that shot to tie it with 3 seconds left, I thought Gonzaga was going to take the timeout. Instead, they just run it down there, chuck up the prayer, and I thought we were going to double overtime. But, man, that shot by Suggs is incredible.
We couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my! It was just like a shocking moment. Like it was just, oh my God, it went in. Like really, and I just love seeing reaction videos too afterwards. There was obviously a big one they were showing of this UCLA fan, so excited that they tied it up, and then she saw the shot go in, and she's literally covering her mouth like, no way that just happened.
Absolutely, it's incredible. Like I said, it was a fantastic game. Fantastic tournament, even though the championship game was kind of a dud. And congratulations to Baylor, because they showed up and they put it on them pretty much throughout.
Right. I mean, the tournament, yeah, we had some good things. We obviously had some good Cinderellas. We had some upsets. I'd probably give it overall, if it was like a letter grade, I'd probably give it like a C plus. I mean, it was above.
Oh, I give it an A plus, man.
Oh man, like really.
Lots
I mean,
of upsets,
really the game, the Final Four game probably saved it from being. I thought it was literally just an average tournament, if you want my honest opinion.
The Elite Eight games weren't that exciting, but like aside from that, like the first weekend was phenomenal. I mean, you really had a great Final Four game. You have like you have a game coming out of it that you want to see in our time machine games. Not every tournament can say that. Like I said,
that is true,
hands down. Plus, you had that Ohio State Oral Roberts game that we watched that was fantastic. It was a great first weekend, great final weekend. That's all you can ask for. It's fantastic. I give it an A plus, and I give it an A plus anytime we have an NCAA tournament.
The fact that we had an NCAA tournament this year, I'm very happy for. So that itself helps a lot. But yeah, I thought it was just average, if you want my honest opinion.
Ooh, cynical.
I know I am. I'm a cynic.
Like 10 buzzer beaters to be.
I know. I need 15 buzzer beaters. I need a 16 seed going all the way to the Final Four. No, I just feel like rather than after like the first day, really, after those first couple like a day games, or really, it's just like I felt like the round of 32 and the Sweet 16 games and the Elite Eight games were sort of duds. You had a good one here and there. But that's what I think. I think of an overall aspect rather than like, we had a good day one and then a good Final Four.
Hey, man, I had fun throughout. I kept watching it. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was thrilled. I'm happy with what we got. Do you think that not having fans there affected your opinion of it?
Maybe not. Man, I wish we did have fans for that UCLA Gonzaga game. I mean, just all the crowd shots we would have had of Gonzaga fans going nuts and then UCLA fans just looking stunned. I mean, really, it's just really a shame. It would have been nice. And then we would have had some like really cool gift shots that probably would have left, that we could have used, on our Twitter, as well. So, it is kind of a shame, but hopefully we'll have full fans in the stands next year.
Speaking of fans, obviously first week of MLB in the books. You were there. You are at the games. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like being back at a game with like an actual full pro sports crowd. Well, it's not full, but a decent pro sports crowd.
It felt great, really. I enjoyed interacting with fans again. It was great. A lot of people that were like that are baseball fans are just really kind of relieved. It's like, oh, they're just so excited they get to go back and actually get to watch a game. And a lot of people were saying how much fun it was again and just being part of the experience. And it's great. I mean, we try to give a good experience for everybody. And yeah, it was just fun. I think people just feel a lot more relieved. I mean, there are definitely some people who are still kind of tensed a little bit. They're still like kind of weary, but I think with them getting out and getting in fresh air really kind of maybe relaxes them a little bit.
Absolutely. I worked a CSU Pueblo men's lacrosse game last night. And it wasn't a huge crowd, but the crowd was into it, and it just felt good to have fans involved and excited about sports again.
Yeah, it felt great. The fans definitely interacted a lot, and especially with Coors too, and the fact that we had a cat on the field as well. That was interesting. Uh, yeah. So I mean, hey, we're getting back to normal a little bit. We're having cats on the field. Hopefully, I don't know with the new netting, we won't have streakers along the first. With the new netting rules, we won't have streakers along the first baseline. So, yeah. So we'll have a streaker sometime. We'll have a streaker sometime soon. I just don't know when.
Was the cat a player to be named later in the Nolan deal?
Maybe. I mean.
Was his name like one of those 4 prospects that we never heard of when it was actually the name of the cat?
Not sure about that. I'll have to check up on that one.
That said, I mean, Ryan McMahon's looking great there at third, though. Gotta give him
really. There've been a couple as far as with the Rockies. I mean, to be honest, they've been very competitive this first weekend. So, hey, as long as they're being competitive and playing hard, really, that's all I could ask for.
Yeah. We got a couple more exciting teams to talk about, though, in the Colorado landscape right now. So we can leave the Rockies stuff for a second. I want to talk about how good the Avalanche and Nuggets are.
Oh man, it's fun. It's fun having two good having a hockey team and a basketball team good, because it really felt like if one team was good, the other team really stunk. So if the Nuggets were good, the Avs stunk, and if the Avs were good, the Nuggets stunk. So it's just nice that both teams are actually really good.
Nuggets on an 8-game winning streak. Avalanche had that 15-game point streak snapped earlier in the week, but obviously 2 great teams, both playing there at the Ball Arena. And I mean, I think we're going to get into our NHL power rankings. We're only going to do 3 today on a bridge show, but I'm going to go top to bottom actually and put the Avalanche right now at number 1.
Yeah, I'm the same way. They're playing really well. They had an anomaly game. They lost 8-3 to Minnesota earlier to snap that 15-point streak. But they came back and they won 2-0 last night and against Anaheim. So I mean, they took care of business as well, and it really felt like an anomaly game too, because Minnesota ends up losing to St. Louis 9-1 last night. So. You got to strike it up sometimes. It's just one of those nights where everything doesn't go your way, and it's one of those. Okay, you shrug it off, and then you play the next game.
And after a 15-game point streak, you guys got to chalk it up. And for whatever reason, the Wild seem to be the team that gives the Avalanche a little bit of a tough spot. That happens. There's always that team that does that for you. And I mean, once again, Avalanche still looking really good.
They are looking strong, and they're getting better. And Nathan McKinnon is starting to put the puck in the net on a more frequent basis now, which is really a cause for concern for defenses now in the NHL, or at least in the Western Division.
Oh, for sure. Now let's talk about who's your number 2.
My number 2 has to go my number 2 has to be the Carolina Hurricanes. They have been playing really well right now. They are definitely they're definitely a surprise team. I thought they'd be really good in the Central Division. I didn't think they'd probably be in the top. I thought they'd be in that second to third type of thing. But no, I mean, that Central Division, really, I mean, it's a very, I guess you could say that with, I guess you could say that with basically all the divisions now, really. I mean, it's really like top 3 teams and then everybody else. So it really feels that way looking at the standings right now. And especially too with Carolina being in division with Tampa Bay and Florida being the top of the division right now is really good. I mean, and they beat Florida twice in the past couple of games. So that's very, very, very good, useful things.
I have them at 3 right now. I think they're a very good hockey team. They are a big surprise to me. Once again, that is a tough division with Tampa Bay, with Florida, and then you got Nashville charging hard too. Nashville's won 9 of their last 10. They're making a run at it, so keep an eye on them as well. But once again, the Carolina Hurricanes are putting it together. They're turning back the clocks and making it look like '05. And, I mean, they're looking like a good team.
Yes, they're looking at great. They're looking like a good team right now. And who do you have for number 2?
My number 2 was the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are on a really good streak, too. Winners of 8 of their last 10, points in 9 of their last 10. They've won 5 in a row. I feel like that division, the North Division, isn't quite as good as we thought it was going to be. But, again, they are doing a good job, and they're beating the teams that they need to be beating.
Yeah, so they're actually my number 3 as well. So they again, they've been playing really good. They've won their past 5 games for their recent game results. So they're really playing strong right now. But Jack Campbell is playing really well in net for them. And could it be one of these? I know it's one of these. Toronto fans really have to start looking like, is this kind of the year? Is this the year they break it? Or is it just going to be another year where they fall flat on their butt? And I would not mind, because the Western Division and the North Division play against each other. Oh, how fun that would be between Colorado. I mean, I know we're looking sort of ahead, but really a Colorado-Toronto shot to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think that would be an awesome, awesome battle.
It sure would. That would be a fun one for sure. I like it.
I like it as well, and it would be so much fun. It's just, old Western Conference rivals. I think people forget about that Toronto was part of the Western Conference for a few years in the Avalanche when the Avs were in there in the early to the late 90s. So, I mean, it'd be nice to have old Western Conference rivals go at it against each other.
Certainly would. Now, let's move on to the bad end of things. Let's talk about these teams that are really terrible. Who do you have as your third worst team in the NHL right now?
Third worst right now, I have Anaheim. Anaheim really, I mean, they're probably the losers of the they're definitely the losers of the of the Western Division. And really, I mean, they really kind of have no hope. I mean, they do kind of have some goal scoring, but really, I mean, they expect really John Gibson to play out of his mind basically every night and to expect to win. And they've lost 4 out of their last 5, and 2 of them have been against the Avalanche. They did lose to Arizona in overtime, and then they beat San Jose 5-1. But yeah, it's tough, especially when you have those great teams, especially on top of the Western Division with the Avs, the Golden Knights, and the Wild.
Yeah, I think that's why have them just outside of this bottom 3. The reason being is that they are just in a tough division where they can't get much done. I'm going to put Calgary in my third worst team right now. They are really struggling. They're 2-8 over their last 10, and they've lost 4 in a row. And they've lost to Ottawa, I think, 2 or 3 times in that span as well. And I think the difference is, like, Anaheim, there wasn't a ton of expectation for the Ducks coming into this season. Calgary was in the playoffs last year, Bushy, and I thought that they would at least come out, have a decent chance to be okay or at least competitive. Maybe that 4th best team in the North, and they are just really struggling.
Yeah, this is a team that's really kind of falling apart right now, and obviously the Daryl Sutter era isn't working as well as it did 15, 20 years ago. So he's not sparking that magic that they were hoping. He wasn't sparking that LA Kings magic right now. So yeah, it's just weird. I mean, they could start blowing this core up right now. We could be looking at maybe the end of this Calgary era as far as these teams. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, they're playing really bad hockey right now.
And like I said, just because they were a playoff team last year, I had an expectation on this team.
I know, and I guess the same could go for Dallas as well. Even though, they were a playoff. I mean, they went to the Stanley Cup, and
right.
Yeah, and they're fighting with Columbus as well, and Columbus really has had a downturn as well. So, and Dallas has to fight with Chicago and Nashville now for that playoff spot now. So just to even get to the playoffs. So
and Nashville's looking pretty decent.
Yes,
yeah. So I mean,
that's the thing I'm shocked about. I'm shocked by the Nashville thing.
I think they have the ability. I'm not against them. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're a team that's really enjoying this type of Central Division rather than the current or the I guess that not the pre-COVID Central Division where you have the Avs and the where you have the Avs and the Blues and the Wild and the yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. Now, obviously, we disagreed on who's our third worst. Who's your second worst?
My second worst has to actually the team that we kind of talked about, the Ottawa Senators. They lost 4 out of their 5, and they did beat Montreal in that stretch, but still they're a very, 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 very bad team. They're still in a rebuilding phase. Their goals against too are the worst in the league as well. So they can't really stop the puck.
You know what? I gotta go. I'm gonna give Ottawa a little bit of a pass this week. I'm not gonna put them at the bottom 3. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the Detroit Red Wings as my second worst team.
You just want to find a way to keep sticking it to Detroit, really.
That too, but they also got beat 7-1 by Nashville the other night. I mean, they did sneak a win somehow over the Lightning, but like I said, they're just getting killed by Nashville. They have 2 7-1 losses to Nashville in the last 10 games. I mean, once again,
I guess that's the reason for Nashville to be good. I guess that's the reason for Nashville being good right now is I guess that they're playing Detroit.
4 wins over the Red Wings over that span.
Yeah,
the team that they somehow, I mean, they found a way to beat the Lightning 5-1, but they are having a really tough time putting the puck in the back of the net as well. They are a team that just does not seem to be able to turn things around, and they've been on this downturn for a while. They've played a ton of games too, so I mean, you look at their points per game average, and it's really bad.
yeah, and yeah. Really, there's nothing more to say. I mean, they're I mean, this is a long rebuilding process with the Red Wings. And yeah, Stevie Y has his work cut out for him on fielding a really, really good team, and hopefully he brings that lightning magic back to the Motor City.
Hopefully he doesn't, and they stay like this forever.
At least for a while. So yeah, so it's like these generation of Red Wings fans growing up with this team used to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and have people like our age. I'm like, oh yeah, they were really one of the dominant franchises.
I want them to feel about their team the way we did about the Nuggets in the late 90s.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, I know. Again, you going back to the Nuggets. Again, you just appreciate this run because we have been through that purgatory that was the late '90s, early 2000s Nuggets teams.
Right, from Dikembe to Carmelo, it was just the worst time ever.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's funny. The Nuggets Twitter posts, all these great highlights of Nick Van Exel, and I'm like, he sucked. He was terrible. He did. I'm sorry. Nick Van Exel wasn't a very good player. He was probably the only player that we had. That's the reason why we remember him fondly.
He was the best player on the team.
Yeah, he was the best player on a really crappy Nuggets team. Congratulations.
I like Nick Van Exel, but once again, he's a remnant of worse times. And it's there's definitely not a lot of good Throwback Thursday posts for the Nuggets.
No, there isn't. Yeah, all the good Throwback Thursdays were okay, the 80s Mo era, the 94 team, and then there's a couple of mellow stuff sprinkled in between, and then probably anything from the past 3 years.
Exactly. And then I'm assuming your number one is still the Buffalo Sabres, the worst team in hockey right now.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Oh, I wish we had a podcast probably talking about them the past couple. I mean, we did kind of talk about them last week, and then it would have been nice to talk about them the week before that too as well. So yeah, they are just a very, very, very bad team, and really there's really no hope. And I still don't understand why Taylor Hall signed with that team. I guess really to looking back at it, it's probably the only team that offered him something.
No kidding. And I mean, I feel like he's just one of these guys who's always on bad teams.
Yeah. Yeah. He had that. That's gonna look as one of the weird MVP years where it's just like where Taylor Hall beat out Nathan McKinnon in the 17-18 MVP race, where you kind of look back at it and be like, why did they choose Taylor Hall over Nathan McKinnon? Like it's one of those type of things. And yeah, they're just a very bad team. And really their past couple of wins, they won in a shootout against the Rangers, and then they beat New Jersey. Then again, New Jersey stinks as well. So, but then they lost to New Jersey the next game. So,
and I mean, they beat the Flyers, who weren't as good as we thought they were going to be either.
Yeah. Yeah, the Flyers aren't very good as well, which is really weird. Yeah, because I thought they would be really good, but nope.
It's a weird year, but I mean, it's definitely fun to keep watching the hockey, and we are thrilled to do it. We might be starting this segment next week once we have a little bit more of a sample size too on the MLB teams to see who ranks where.
Yes, we may do that as well, and yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, ready to talk. Ready to talk. And hey, playoffs are right around the corner for basketball and hockey, so good time to be had. And then we'll have baseball.
Absolutely. I think one thing for sure I do want to mention, Baltimore Orioles, the team that Fangraphs gave the 0% chance to win, to go to the playoffs and go to the World Series, is currently leading the AL East.
Yes, the AL East had a 4-3 record. I mean, I know it's early. It's one of these like, okay, you had a good start, but we'll see. But Boston seemed to storm back a little bit.
After getting swept by the Orioles.
After getting swept by the Orioles, yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's gonna last, but
yeah, I don't think so either. But again, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see with these teams. And it's a good start to the season, but we'll have to wait and see till halfway through the season if Baltimore really is truly a team to really take into account.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say that now because I don't know if I can say it next week.
I know. Yeah, they swept it. Now they've been 1 in
1 in 3 cents, but
yeah, 1 in 3 cents. So
still,
yes, we will have to wait and see with that.
We certainly will. Let's get into our big talk about the week, though. It's WrestleMania. Starts tonight. Hopefully, I get this out before tonight. But
hopefully,
once again, WrestleMania starting tonight. 2-day event goes until tomorrow. This year's card, not exactly something I'm super excited for. I think the best show that they had this week was the NXT TakeOver on Wednesday and Thursday. But I wanted to show off. I got the shirt going. I got the Attitude Era shirt.
Nice. I forgot my WrestleMania 6 shirt. Oh,
no, it's all right. That said, I mean, you got the WrestleMania. We aren't going to talk too much about tonight's one, but let's talk about some of the great ones of the past. What are some of your favorite WrestleMania moments?
Probably the first one that really sticks out to me probably is WrestleMania 14. I kind of did a Twitter thing as well with I think it was like a screaming Brandon Marshall or something like that, or whoever that person was. He looked like Brandon Marshall. It's like, what's the reaction that made you go that? And it was me, Austin defeated Michaels in WrestleMania 14. I mean, that was really one of the true things ever. And I remember distinctly, like, I had a good friend, he taped the show and brought it over the next day. We ended up watching it before the Raw, so we got to know what happened before instead of having to watch Raw and or having to watch Raw and see the results, really.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously that is such an iconic moment. That's a good WrestleMania too, because I think you had the first Undertaker Kane match at that one too. But once again, Austin winning is such a defiant moment and a defining moment of our childhood, with the Attitude Era really getting into full swing when Austin wins.
Exactly, yeah. And then he had a really good, it was called the dumpster match between Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. So you had Mick Foley and Terry Funk going up against the New Age Outlaws, which I think it's one of these matches I think people forget. Like, it really was a good match. And yeah, it was fun. It was a unique type of match, and it was great to see that as well.
Now, if memory serves right, the Outlaws like chain the dumpster shut and dump them off like the side of the stage, right?
That was the instance on what caused
What
to
caused
to
it?
be the
Okay.
dumpster match. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie actually did win the dumpster match to win the
Okay.
tag team titles. Yeah, and yeah, who can forget? And not to mention too, Pete Rose getting tombstone by Kane for that was.
That was a good running joke too. I love those. Love that.
I know that was good. Yeah, that ran for a good 2-3 years. It was funny. Like I was like, oh, well, they kept bringing it back. Like Pete
Right.
Rose enjoyed getting tombstone by Kane.
With Kane going into the Hall of Fame this year, they should find a way to work it into this year's show somehow.
Yes, yeah, he should. Pete Rose should just come in like a chicken suit. It should just be a comedy act.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. I loved it. I loved it, and Pete Rose should have been a manager. I think he would have been really good.
Oh, it'd
He
be
really
great.
he was really enticing that Boston, that pre Red Sox championship Boston crowd.
He did, absolutely.
It was funny. Like, go back and watch it. Like, yeah, stuff hasn't aged because the Red Sox had won a championship, but during that time, oh my God, that was funny. Yeah, it's like when he's like, I got Bill Buckner tickets, but he couldn't pick them up. He had some really good heat. Like, I was just like, man, like he should have been that. It would have been great.
That was a great idea, actually. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
he needs it. I think he makes a lot of money in appearances, but man,
He would have made a great manager. I would have loved to have seen
that's
Pete
a good
Rose as
point.
like an Attitude Era manager, or just try to be still be in this Kane storyline. He's somehow in the
Right,
1998 King of the Ring with Austin and Kane.
right. Instead of the Undertaker accidentally busting Stone Cold Steve Austin open, you have
It's Pete Rose. Yes.
Oh,
And
man.
then, yeah, that's the Pete Rose heel turn where it's like, oh, he turns and becomes the second manager.
That's hilarious. Uh, awesome. For my first moment, I'm going to go with WrestleMania 7. And it's one of those ones that, kind of like you, this was just a tape that I had as a kid. And I watched that tape a ton of times, man. And it was, still a very good WrestleMania. You had a fantastic match between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. And with that match, it was like a career-ending match. So you thought Randy Savage was done at that point, but then he reunites with Elizabeth at the end of the match. So that's a great match you got to throw in there too. And on top of that, you kind of had like the patriotic like rivalry with Stone Cold and like Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter in there too.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, yeah. Hulk Hogan against Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter. And then you had, I said a really good show there.
Yeah, and then you had the appearance of the Undertaker, the start of this really long streak that he had. You had that as well, and then your buddy,
It's a
your
match
buddy
where
Big Boss Man.
Undertaker. Like, it's a great showcase match for the Undertaker because he beats Superfly Jimmy Snuka handily. He gets to showcase all his stuff, but he looks really good throughout that match. Fantastic WrestleMania.
Yeah, and just looking at it right now, you have your buddy Big Boss Man beating Mr. Perfect.
It was by
with
disqualification.
with this disqualification, but he still got the W in a way.
think
I know he didn't
I
win the
think they put
title.
the strap on him and had him win the Intercontinental Championship, and just the feud leading up to it. You had Bobby Heenan talking all this crap about the Big Boss Man's mama, so he should have gotten the W there cleanly. But once again, it doesn't matter. It was still a good WrestleMania, and that match between Savage and the Ultimate Warrior is a really good one.
It's a really good one. Actually, that Hogan Slaughter match is actually like a really underrated good Hogan match. Like I know people really shit on Hogan in a while, but actually that Hogan Slaughter match was actually pretty good.
Absolutely, and he Slaughter's doing everything he can to get disqualified too. Like he just keeps hitting him with chairs and stuff, and for whatever reason, Slaughter just could not get disqualified.
Yeah,
because that was his whole plan, and he couldn't do it, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, so we'll have to see with that, and that's just I love WrestleMania. I really do. It's really the only really sporting event I really watch as far as with professional wrestling. So I'm very excited. I probably won't watch it live, but I'll definitely be watching it maybe probably like tomorrow, maybe the first night tomorrow, then maybe the second night on Tuesday. So I'm very excited, and yeah, we'll definitely have a review about it.
Absolutely. Do you have any more moments you want to be talking about?
Obviously, love WrestleMania 6. I should have had the T-shirt on as well, but I loved that WrestleMania. And then, yeah, then obviously with Hulk Hogan against the Ultimate Warrior, that would have been a great. That was a great battle. Really a great battle between two people. Yeah. And yeah, it was just overall just a really fun WrestleMania, and you got to see Andre the Giant make his basically kind of his swan song as well. There, him coming at the cart, defeating Bobby Heenan as well, or beating up Bobby Heenan in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had kind of his like final, defiant moment with Heenan. I mean, I mean, I feel like that match is definitely one of those that one is definitely one of those ones that's like very top loaded because you have that fantastic match with Warrior and Hogan. The rest of the card is kind of forgettable, but once again, it's a really good moment there, that Hogan versus the Warrior, because you don't have two baby faces really going after at each other anymore.
No, and then it was title for title too. So it was both the Intercontinental and the World Heavyweight Championship was going out. So yeah, it's great to see, and yeah, I do kind of agree with you. Yes, it was very top heavy, but again, that top heavy was really good as well. Yes, I know it was really kind of average, but really it was probably go back to our March Madness in a way.
Hey, we're looking at top matches and memories, not necessarily the whole card though.
Okay, yes. But yeah, just loved it. I remember watching it as a kid and all that.
Absolutely. I got to go to WrestleMania 15, talk about obviously that first Rock Stone Cold match. Obviously, they face each other 3 times at WrestleMania. I think the one at 17 just doesn't make sense with The Rock or Austin aligning with McMahon. That made no sense to me. It still makes no sense to me, that whole storyline. So in that sense, like I don't see the point in that. So for me, it's their first match. That made more sense. That one was the one that like really was also kind of like that big mainstream breakout for The Rock, who had kind of been building up a little bit. He had become the champion, but that was like the first time he got to really be big on the big stage, and he definitely delivered. The moment where he takes the camera and starts talking trash to Austin, like it just proved how next level The Rock was.
Yeah, it was a very fun WrestleMania. You have a lot of good things as well, and then I really like the what was it? I really like the Shane McMahon X-Pac matchup. That was actually a really good one. I thought you would hate this WrestleMania 15 because of your buddy, the Big Boss Man, getting hanged up at the Hell in the Cell from the Undertaker.
Match is not whole card, man. So
that's just not whole card. I thought it would be a sore spot for you. But yeah, that Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Rock matchup really was going to be an amazing start to this trilogy of matches and stuff, and it really culminated too as well. I mean, really, this was kind of building up for at least for a year now. With Austin and The Rock, and it looked like too that they were going to have sort of like a rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship, but they wanted to do bigger and better things with Stone Cold at that point, and then they kind of just savored that and let it go. And yeah, it really was an amazing match to be a part of and to see.
It really was, and that one. I mean, you also have to look at their third match too, which was really good. The Rock Stone Cold match at WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, and looking back too with the WrestleMania 17, I think that one remembers me because I think that was the last time I really stopped caring about wrestling, because I was just like, really, Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon got into a fight.
They've been hating each other.
Yeah, they've been hating each other for like basically 3 years now, and then finally they're agreeing on each other. I'm like, oh, okay.
The thing about WrestleMania 17, though, you got to talk about that TLC match between Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardys. That's another fantastic match, though. We got to talk about that one. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and their previous one too. They had one for WrestleMania. It's called 2000, but WrestleMania 16 was actually a really good TLC match as well, and they somehow topped that. It really was an amazing match, and both all three of those competitors or all three of those tag teams really put their bodies on the line with that, and it's just a lot of chair shots and table and ladders and all that, and you just have Jeff Hardy doing his swantons off the bombs. I mean, it's just so gruesome. And then you have Edge with the spear as Hardy's hanging onto the belt.
Oh yeah, such a great, so great.
It was an amazing car crash of a match, and it was just so much fun to watch. And it was just like, wow, what a great match. And you just see the end too, which is all these people, basically is like Edge, Christian, the Hardys and the Dudleys, all like really they look exhausted after that match. They look exhausted, tired, and beaten up after that match. You could tell it's a great match because those guys really gave it their all.
They really did. It's a fantastic one, fantastic show. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't like the ending, but man, that match itself, superb. You're not going to get a better match than that.
No, you're not.
And while we're talking about the ladder matches, we got to talk about the first one, that Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon match at WrestleMania 10 too. That one still holds up really well too.
Yes, and going back, actually, I know we don't talk a lot about cards, but that was actually a very, very good card as well. I enjoyed that WrestleMania. That's a really, really good WrestleMania to go back and watch. Yeah, but that ladder match was just really the pinnacle of that show. Just an amazing match, and just what they could do with the ladder as well. They used it as a weapon, and then obviously there's the iconic image of Michaels jumping off the ladder onto Razor. So, yeah, just a great match.
That one's a great match. And then you also had Owen Hart versus Bret Hart at that one too, which is also another great match.
Yes, that was a great match. And then I liked both of the Yokozuna matches. I liked both of them as well. I thought he did really well, wrestling wrestling two matches that night. And yeah, it was great.
It certainly was. It was a good one.
Yeah, and then and then obviously a big one is probably as far as the more recent ones is probably WrestleMania 30. Really enjoyed WrestleMania 30. I did enjoy. I know you weren't a big one. I enjoyed it. Seeing Daniel Bryan. Seeing Daniel Bryan win the championship, that was really cool. And then and seeing the Undertaker lose his streak. I mean that was shocking in itself.
It was shocking, but like I said, I think that the way that they did it didn't need to go down that way. And I also thought that, like I said, I wasn't the biggest Daniel Bryan fan, so I didn't get as into that one, but to each their own. I mean, there's a lot of people who really like that one. So, I mean, I definitely feel like I'm in the minority there for sure.
Oh, I know, but I'm part of more of the people. I actually really like Daniel Bryan, and really I felt like he got screwed a lot of the time too, because I think like the year before he loses to Sheamus in like 10 seconds. And
a few years prior, but
a few years prior, and it's just like, oh man, like really, this guy can't catch a break. But he did get his WrestleMania moment.
He sure did. And I mean, I gotta go. I actually like the end of WrestleMania 31 if we're going in recent years, with Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank to win at WrestleMania. That was a pretty good moment as well.
I did enjoy that WrestleMania. That really was a good WrestleMania, and I love the ending as well. Yeah, it was a good Reigns Lesnar match as well. And then and they had a really, really good surprise ending with Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank.
And they had a good ladder match with Daniel Bryan won. So your boy Daniel Bryan gets it done in the ladder match to win the Intercontinental title. And then a really good match with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins earlier in the night, where he gets a good RKO on him out of like midair.
Yeah, and then you had a good nostalgia match too between Triple H and Sting. You had I know it was basically like bringing the hits back as well. You had the DX against the NWO storyline, which was it cleaned to us nostalgia fans.
It did a little bit. I would have liked to have seen Sting pick up the W there.
Yeah, I would have as well. Yeah, but it was overall a really cool thing. I mean, it did definitely cater to us nostalgia fans.
Oh, for sure.
I did enjoy the what was it? I think it was 32. I believe the one in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy the Hell in a Cell match between the Undertaker and Shane McMahon. That really, again, it was a nice like nostalgia throwback, and they were using the cell as a prop as compared to some Hell in the Cell matches today. Were really they just have a match, and it's more of a decoration rather than an actual use of a weapon for some of the things. So yeah, and then you have Shane McMahon literally jumping off the top of the Hell in the Cell again. I couldn't believe that he actually did it. It was great. I was very impressed by that. It definitely cleaned to us nostalgia fans.
Shane McMahon, I don't think it's enough credit for how balls to the wall he always goes. Like, Shane McMahon is the boss's son. He could get away with doing like very basic type matches and very like he doesn't have to be doing any of the crazy stuff that he does. But like for him to just jump off the cell and just do this kind of crap that he does, like he deserves a lot of credit in my book. And he really does wrestle pretty well.
Yeah, he does wrestle really well, and he does take crazy bumps. I mean, he's amazing. I love Shane McMahon. I really do. I prefer Shane more than Stephanie, if you want my honest opinion. Yeah, but man, I love Shane, and he does take crazy bumps and all that. And looking at the card, it looks like he's going to be in a steel cage match for Wrestlemania this year. So we could be seeing something crazy.
Oh, he's jumping off that thing for sure.
He's jumping up at that thing through a table of fire, with thumbtacks below the table.
He's doing something crazy. You know he's jumping off of that.
Oh, he's doing something crazy.
100%. I mean, you can't bring up Undertaker matches, though, without bringing up his back-to-back with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 and 26. Both of those are such iconically great matches.
Oh, those are great matches to look back on. And then one of them is actually kind of a semi-retirement match with Shawn Michaels. Michaels really hasn't wrestled that much.
I think he wrestled once for like Saudi Arabian money afterwards, but like that was it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's great. He was great, and he made the Undertaker look great, and just
Undertaker doesn't need help looking great, but I mean they both look fantastic.
He made him look over the top. Let's put it that way. I mean, there are definitely a couple of Undertaker matches that are really stinkers, but yeah, it was amazing matches to have seen and to just witness.
Yeah, I don't think he has that many stinkers, but that said, I mean, the two against Michaels are fantastic.
Yeah, they some are stinkers as well. The King Kong Bundy one's a stinker. It's really early on in the yeah, it's early on in the career. He did get better as the years went on. So as far as the matches,
yeah, I'll give you the King Kong Bundy one as a stinker. But.
Yeah. Oh, you don't. Oh, that's right. You're a big Giant Gonzalez fan. I forgot about that.
I'm not a big Giant Gonzalez fan, but I mean, I'm not gonna bash that one either. That one was what it was.
You're not expecting much.
Giant Gonzalez was just the 1990s version of the Great Khali,
who's somehow a WWE Hall of Famer.
True.
Makes perfect. I know it makes perfect sense.
It does. I gotta go back, and there's one more I gotta talk about. Do you have any more matches? One that you want to talk about?
Nope. Give me your last one.
When I gotta go back, I gotta go to WrestleMania 21, and there's two matches at this one that are both incredible. The first one is the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, and you have a lot of really good people in this matchup. You have Kane, you have Edge. You have Shelton Benjamin running up the ladder and clotheslining Chris Jericho off of it. Like, you have some really good, iconic moments in this match. And this was a great way for WWE to get a lot of really good, talented people into this WrestleMania and set up the Money in the Bank, which, I mean, they've kind of wasted in recent years. but it's a great concept of just being able to cash in that briefcase whenever you want it. So it was a great concept that was introduced first at this WrestleMania. It's a fantastic match. And then also this WrestleMania, the Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels matchup is fantastic.
Yes, it started off a great gimmick match, and then a really great Shawn Michaels match as well, with him and Kurt Angle. And yeah, I love the Money in the Bank, and I wish it was still part of the WrestleMania card as well. I know why they had to make it into like a bigger card, or make it into a actual pay-per-view. But I would love it if it was still part of the WrestleMania lore. That would make it like an amazing match, and maybe get some of these mid-card people, some screen time and then some help.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, like I said, you got that iconic moment with Benjamin, and everyone in this match came out of it looking better. So that's a great one. And like I said, the Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels match is just a great wrestling match. And it starts slow, but it builds, man. And it builds really, really well between the two.
Yes. And I remembered one match before we go. Yeah, obviously WrestleMania 18. We have Hulk Hogan against The Rock, which is amazing, because if you think about it, it's like, wow, like you have a really old Hulk Hogan against in his prime Rock. That sounded really bad, but really, I mean, they performed really well, and it's just like, my God, like it was amazing. It's just like, and the Toronto crowd, I think, really helped it, and I'm very excited. I don't know what the capacity is going to be for Raymond James Stadium, so hopefully it's going to be a big crowd for WrestleMania. So this year, and that fans really changed like the perception on people. Like they really did. They changed the way, The Rock was cheated, and same with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a great match. And I mean, the fan, like Hogan was supposed to be the bad guy, but the fans just weren't letting him be the bad guy. And so it was an iconic moment. And I'm very interested to see what happens now that fans are back for this first event here at WrestleMania. I mean, the weather's supposed to be really bad tomorrow. So I'm interested to see if that ends up affecting anything, or if we're going to have some iconic rain matches coming tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, these wrestlers coming out in the rain, and then we'll have some slipping and sliding, and we'll have to wait and see. But I'm kind of curious.
Maybe they'll save money on baby oil and actually be able to just use the rainwater to
to make me look better.
Awesome. Well, I mean, obviously we're excited for WrestleMania. It's going to be an interesting card. It's not like the card I'm the most excited for ever. I think they've kind of wasted a lot of the builds for it, but I think that it's still going to be worth watching. I'll check it out at some point, and I think, like I said, hopefully it turns out to be good.
Are you happy that's like a 2-day affair again?
I like it as a 2-day affair, yeah.
Yeah, you like the 2-day affair? Okay. I'm kind of curious how that's going to handle.
Give me more opportunities for people. Give me more wrestling. So if it's good.
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm very excited. I'll be watching it, and we'll have a review next week.
Awesome. Can't wait. Well, thank you guys again for checking out this episode. Go back and like and watch all of our other episodes. We look forward to having Trevor M as our first guest host or guest on this show here in a couple of weeks. And once again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Peace.